And the Trump administration suffered a setback in a closely watched immigration case on Thursday as the US Supreme Court ordered it to facilitate the return of a wrongfully deported Salvadoran migrant. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, aged 29, was living in the eastern state of Maryland until he became one of more than 200 people sent to a prison in El Salvador last month as part of Republican President Donald Trump's crackdown on undocumented migrants. Most of the deportees were suspected members of Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which the Trump administration has declared a foreign terrorist organization. Justice Department lawyers later admitted that Abrego Garcia, who was married to a US citizen, was deported due to an administration error. Abrego Garcia had been living in the United States under protected legal status since 2019, when a judge ruled he should not be deported because he could be harmed in his home country. Well, joining us to discuss these developments and Joining us is Scott Faulkner, head of the Eagle Enterprises, a security firm based in Washington, to discuss these developments around the Supreme Court ruling on this Salvadoran deportee. Scott, I want to look first at this individual case, but we also have to keep in mind the broader issue here that has been raised by courts in the United States, calling these types of deportations not illegal almost under the Alien Enemies Act. But looking at this one individual case, is this just an outlier, do you think, where somebody has been deported by accident? And do you think the Trump administration will react and get that situation resolved?
They definitely need to get it resolved as quickly as possible. It undermines their overall program and sets a very troubling precedent for the lower courts to demand this same kind of due diligence and hearings on all the people that they plan to deport. I mean, when you have a unanimous Supreme Court decision, which means even conservatives like Thomas and Alito said, you screwed up on this one, you made a big mistake, is huge.
Yes, Scott, I do want to bring it back now to the wider conversation on deportations, looking at people being sent to El Salvador, specifically those accused of being part of the Tren de Aragua gang. Do you think that this is a wake-up call potentially to the Trump administration, that these checks need to be made and the people being deported need to be looked at better and more effort needs to be made to make sure the right people are being deported? Because we've had several accounts of advocacy groups saying that people have also been deported under similar circumstances wrongfully.
Absolutely. I mean, due diligence is important. Now, obviously the left and those that for some reason like to have gang thugs in this country are trying to slow the wheels down and trying to make each one into a lengthy court case. That would be horrible. But on the other hand, the Trump administration must dot their I's and cross their T's to make sure that the real, true bad people, I mean, the drug dealers, the human traffickers, the murderers, the cartel enforcers are sent packing, but they really need to get their act together and to make sure the documentation is 100% solid.
Scott, does this raise questions about Trump's broader immigration strategies and plans? He's obviously been clear that he wants to have mass deportations. Do you think this will potentially make him think about those and look at who's being deported and how they're being deported?
I hope so. I mean, but again, I don't think anyone in the Trump administration, and certainly anyone who voted for Trump last November, want any of these horrible people in this country 1 minute longer than they need to be. So Trump needs to make sure that he and his team are doing everything right so they don't get tripped up by those who for some reason advocate for these horrible people.
Yes, Scott Faulkner. To bring an end to this discussion, the conversation around migration has been a contentious one amongst Americans. Do you think that issues like these and mistakes like these, which have clearly been pointed out by the Supreme Court, raise those questions further and continue to divide Americans?
Well, once again, this is an 80-20 issue. That 80% of Americans do not want foreign cartel thugs and murderers to stay in this country. They do not. I mean, with the State Department declaring Tren de Agua a terrorist organization with foreign ties, we cannot have enemies in this country. But the Trump administration cannot basically cut corners and offer opportunities for his opponents to attack him.
Yes, Scott, we are going to keep you on, and we're going to move away from this deportation story. We have some